Welcome to the Free Game Don D podcast, life, family, and business. Listen, man, today I have a special guest in, Coach Darren Shine. Some of y'all know him as Piggy. I know him as Coach Shine, though, but he is the owner of Shine Hoop Grind Academy. So he's in here today to chop it up with me a little bit about what he's doing in the community as it pertains to training the youth in the sport of basketball. Coach.
Appreciate you for having me, man. I can't thank you enough, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Listen, man, I'm glad to have you here, man. So talk a little bit about yourself, Coach. I know you played ball in high school and also played ball in college. So kind of talk about, like, the beginnings as it pertains to you when it comes to basketball.
Okay, basketball was one of those sports that was provided to us as a extracurricular activity. When you come from the inner city environments, the less fortunate environments, your parents just trying to find different activities and after school things to do to keep you from out of the streets. So one of the things that we and my family was into was in basketball. So yeah, what they started doing, what my mom started doing, signing us up to the Parks and Recreations, Augusta Parks and Recreations, and we kind of went from there.
Yeah, it's funny. Funny thing about ball, man. Growing up, man, like that was our escape, man, to go play ball. And a lot of times we were playing street ball. Mm-hmm. We didn't know anything about organized ball, but we go down to the court, the city courts. Sometimes go down to May Park. Just playing street ball, man, and we loved it, man. So is that kind of how you got started too, like playing on the streets?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely did a lot of the neighborhood basketball goals outside. If it was in dirt, if it was in cement, it didn't matter. Whatever goal, whenever we seen a goal, we were just ready to play. I mean, I remember one time making a tree limb a goal, a crate a goal. Like we just growing up, you just find ways to have fun. Yeah, basketball is one of those things. We created things. Even in the house, I remember putting a hanger up against the door. We used to call it hanger ball. We used to ball up some socks and put a hanger on the door and shut the door up top, and we dunking all day. Mom get on us because we banging into the doors, and we just fell in love with the game.
It's funny, man. Like it's funny how resourceful you can be when you don't have money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Very creative. Like we used to create everything, man. All kind of games. So that hanger ball, though, that was one of those things. So now they sell the real basketball goals, and and all the kids have them on their doors. Yeah. My kids, both of them had them, man. It's noisy. It's like they're gonna bust through the door, man. They dunking and all you hear is just a bunch of loud booms just all throughout the house. So I can imagine what our mom and parents was going through back in the day.
What's funny though, man? I think about our parents though, man. Like with us, we were always outside though, so it wasn't that much noise in the house because we were always outside playing ball.
Yeah, no, we stayed outside. I remember getting up, after we ate some breakfast, man, we go right to the backyard, and we always was known for basketball, so all the kids come over to the house. We in the backyard. I mean, dust everywhere, dirt. We used to play in the dirt. You ain't have no cement back then. Parents couldn't put no cemented courts out there in the backyard like we able to do for our kids now.
For sure.
We just
hold up. So y'all had a dirt court at your house?
Man, that grass end up turning into dirt after you keep dribbling that ball on it. So yeah, that's what it was. We just in ground goal. Everybody had the goals, and then after a couple of months of dribbling a basketball on that grass, it turned into dirt. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. I'm sitting there thinking about my childhood a little bit, man. My dad, he just built this wooden post in the backyard and put a goal up there. Man, we thought we was in the NBA, man. On that dirt court, man, getting it, man.
Those are some of the best games, man. Competitive games too, between cousins, friends. But you come in the house dirty. You take a bath. I'm talking about your whole bath water brown, man, because you're just out there just playing for hours, and it's just a bunch of dirt and dust coming up on your body and stuff. So, but those was the good old days.
Yeah, y'all kids hearing this, being outside playing ball for hours. outside. Didn't want to come in. Outside all day
all day.
till it get dark. Honestly, if we can get a little bit of light, we're gonna stay out there
We're gonna
if we
stay
can.
out there all day. All day.
So let me ask you this, Coach. Like when did you fall in love with the game of basketball?
I mean, I fell in love with it early. Like I remember playing my first organized basketball game. I wasn't that good. I was probably about 6, but like you said, like that next year, we was outside every day. So I got better just off playing basketball in the backyard at my friend's house, just neighborhood basketball. So the next year, like I was one of the better kids in that recreation department, you know, understanding how to make layups, understanding how to dribble. And a lot of those, with me, it was God-gifted talent. Like I didn't work out. I just played a lot and I watched a lot. Like I grew up in the era when, you know, the Michael Jordans and the John Starks, Tim Hardaway, Clyde Drexler era. So, you know, I used to watch a lot of NBA basketball. Tim Hardaway was my favorite basketball player. Like I fell in love with the point guard position because of him, Tim Hardaway. Like I used to love his game, that killer crossover. And growing up, it's crazy. I made that my signature move. Like I stole it from him. I used to do it. I perfected it. And it was one of my moves that anytime I needed to do something or get around somebody, I can hit them with it. So just growing up watching them players, man, I just fell in love with the game.
Wow. So how old were you when you started playing rec ball?
I was like 5 or 6. That's when I first started. I remember, like I said, I wasn't that good. That was my introduction into organized ball. Like we used to just go outside and play street ball. And like it was only that first year. Like it just took me to go through that first year, go through the bumps and bruises, and I figured it out after that first year. I started seeing kids who could really play. Oh, I want to do that. I want to dribble like him. Or I want to shoot, be able to have a jump shot like him. So I just started mimicking what the other good kids was doing. And I caught on quick. I think I could have already did it if I knew before. You know, I think I already had it in me. I just didn't know how to do that stuff. But experience, like they say, is the greatest teacher. So that first year of rec basketball just gave me the confidence.
Man, that's dope, man. Listen, you said something that the viewers listening, they heard, but they didn't quite know what they were hearing. You said organized ball. Guys, there's street ball, then there's organized ball.
For sure.
And there are some guys that are street ball legends that I grew up with. Like, they couldn't play organized ball, but, man, you get him on the street.
It's a different
I don't care
ball,
how good you are at organized ball, they will smoke you.
For sure.
Right? But trying to translate that game over to organized ball, some cats, I know me personally, I couldn't do it. I tried.
Right.
But some guys, man, they couldn't make that transition, right? There's definitely a difference.
And it's a lot of kids think they're playing organized ball that still can't make that transition, because I remember, like, I was good, but when I went to different levels and being around different coaches teaching like the game the right way, I thought I knew it, but they kind of really made me understand the game at a high level. So I started doing things different, seeing things different, and that's when I started understanding the word execution, like what it really means, how to execute a full offense the right way, you know. And once you get, you know, guys to buy into a system or a set, and ain't really, you know, got a selfish mentality and just worry about themselves, you can always execute the right way if you got a really good coach.
So let me ask you this, because I know you started off playing rec, but then you also played, of course, you know, high school ball. So at what point did you know, man, I think I might have something?
I knew going into middle school, because I was just like, everywhere I went, I was like different. Like all the other kids was, you know, but I was always different. My handle, I could dribble. Like I was really a good ball handler, but it was so different than all the other kids. So I was like, you know, but still, I still didn't understand how good I was. Everybody else seen it. The kids in PE, they you know, guarding me. It was hard, but I didn't really understand that until I started till when I was in 8th grade, and the varsity coach at Richmond wanted me to come in and play varsity as a freshman. against the, you know, I'm playing against the 12, 11 graders. So at that time, I was like, okay, I must be really good, like really, really, really good then. Because they bypass, and normally freshmen got to play AV, ninth grade, 10th grade, and, 11 and 12, you'll be ready for varsity. But as a 14-year-old kid, like, you ready to put me against, the men, the 18-year-old men out there. So, yeah, that told me, like, okay, now I got a chance.
But see, you was tough though, man. I think that, so like in today's game, by today's standard, would it have been the same possibly? I mean, you was a tough kid.
Yeah, it just growing up differently. Like,
for sure.
Like I walk around now, people ask me, did the barber cut my? Do I be getting this as a style? I'm like, nah, man. I was 3 years old, man, trying to jump a gate, and I fell. And this is these stitches. It's stitches from just like, that's the stuff we used to do outside, man. And I've been through the trenches outside as a kid, and I broke every bone, hand, wrist, foot. So, these kids here, I don't know if they can sustain some of the things that we went through.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I always thought that slash on your eyebrow. I was like, I didn't know if that was just something you was doing, but it's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's not intentional.
No, it's not intentional at all, man.
Those are battle scars.
Yeah, it's a battle scar, for real. Yeah. I know I wasn't even 4 or 5 years old, man. I was every bit of 3. Backyard trying to climb the gate at 3 years old. Fail.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this, man. So playing ball in high school, were there any coaches that had an impact on your life?
Yeah. I was blessed to have a lot of good coaches, man. That it wasn't just basketball. It was life. A lot of my coaches taught a lot of life lessons, man, and that's what I kind of question today, to see if coaches today is player first. I mean, person first, player second. And that's one of the things that I look into when I'm even finding my kids somewhere to play. I want to make sure these coaches really care, because I know when I was coaching, I cared, and it wasn't about basketball. But if I'm going to get on a kid about basketball real hard on the court, I'm going to love them off the court, and they're going to know the difference. So they never going to want to quit my team because they going to always feel love. A lot of the players quit teams because the coach is just fussing. It's just basketball. After practice, just leave. They not talking to them still, like conversating with them, letting them know, like, look, man, I see the best in you. Look, I'm going to be on you for a reason, because I see your potential. Like, when you talk to kids like that, man, and they really, it ain't personal now. Mm-hmm. They look at it like, it ain't because the first thing you get on a kid, and you ain't, they in their head, he don't like me. Right. My coach don't like me. But when you can do both at a fine line, you can eliminate some of those issues. I used to have the kids at my house. I've been not cursing them out doing practice, but we on the grill at the crib. They spending the night. They don't want to go home. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. So when now the next practice, when I'm getting on them, they just looking up, yes sir, yes sir. So it's that you have to build that respect thing, and I think if you understand how to do that, man, you can reel a lot of these kids in. But a lot of coaches losing kids because it's basketball first. They don't care. It's like they don't really care about the other side. Like people battling mental health, a lot of things. So you don't know what a person going through that day. You may have to get on them because we are at practice right now. But after practice, yo, man, what's wrong? You ain't look the same. You all right? What's going on? Talk to me. Stuff like that, man. And when you can find a good coach that do both, you want to keep that coach in your corner, regardless of the wins and losses. That stuff don't matter. It's all about development.
Wow.
And that's one of the things we so caught up in to the day, especially in this little AAU game, wins and losses. You having parents finna fight, arguing, wins and losses, man. That ain't for that. This is for these kids to develop. If I lose every game, but my kids getting better individually every game, I'm okay with that, especially at that age. Now, when it really start mattering, when the wins count, when they get a little bit more competitive, okay, we'll focus a little bit more trying to, come together and win as a team. But at them young ages, man, it's all about development.
Wow. So you kind of went straight to the AAU and all of that. I hadn't even got there yet.
Yeah, because it all go hand in hand, man. So sometimes we could be talking about something else, and then because it's all the same, and it translates into something else.
Yeah. That kind of ran you hot a little bit.
Yeah, because it definitely be getting me mad sometimes.
Yeah. No, because and I'm just listening to the passion in your voice. You're talking about pouring into kids, not just basketball, but life, because some of these kids may have talent, but if they don't think you care about them in a real way, that could you could lose this kid for basketball and everything else.
For sure. It's this kid I got, I had, man, and he was getting to the point where he was getting really good. He was getting better than all the other kids. They was young then. So sometimes his attitude would kind of get in the way, because he was getting better. So, I had to get on him, kick him off my team. But I still was picking him up from school, So that right there, I think that was one of the biggest things that for him to see that, dang, he kicked me off his team, but he's still picking me up from school, taking me home. So things like that, man. So when kids see that, man, they gonna be with you forever. They gonna hold you down forever. And I never had no problem out of that kid. Like when he understood that, and that right there made him just a better person, player, and everything.
Well, but where did you get that from, though, man? Like to do that to a kid, to pour into a kid, like was that done for you?
I had, like I said, I had some good coaches, but it's just me as a person. I mean, I never really dug into where I get that caring, loving, giving back. I don't, that's just my personality. And I always been like that, even when I was young, like when I if a kid don't, like one of my little cousins come in and they be like, man, I like them shoes. I might want them, but I'd be like, man, you want them, man? You can have them. Stuff like that. I just always been like that, man. I love to see other people happy,
Wow. So, but so get into your background a little bit because I'm asking you where you got that from a little bit. I know you said it's just who I am. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, was there some sort of positive male role model anywhere, with a coach, maybe it's your dad. I'm not sure what the background is there.
I think that trait, I get it from my mom. She was always like that. Like growing up, like everybody probably in my family stayed with us. Like they going through something, having some hard times. She always brought them into the house. She raised two of my cousins up till they was like 16, 17. And she got them when they was babies. So it was always me and my brother and my two little cousins. And on top of them being in the house too, I also had other cousins move in too. And she just always tried to look out, for a family and make sure everybody was, okay. So that's where that trait come from. Outside, I got that trait that she have as a person inside me.
Wow. Yeah, no, I knew that had to come from somewhere. I know if I kept digging, I mean, we're going to get to where this came from now. You don't you don't become that person without seeing somebody show a level of caring. So shout out to mama. So let me ask you this, man. So you played ball in high school, and were you heavily recruited?
Yeah, I was not heavily, but I had about 4 or 5 offers, college Division I offers that wanted me to come to their schools. I was recruited by a good bit of schools, but offered probably about 4 or 5.
Okay. And so you went off to school. Did you have a successful college career?
Yeah, I had a very successful college career. My journey was a little different though. Like coming out of high school, I had to go to prep school because of grades. Then I left prep and had to go to junior college because my transcript, something happened with my transcript. So after junior college, I ended up going to Delaware State University. And I had a great career up there, man. One NCAA tournament, played Duke in the first round.
Hold up. How did that go? Playing
Nah,
Duke in the first round.
it went good. We almost upset. We was
Okay.
down by 2 at the half. We lost by 7.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's the year J.J. Redick, Sheldon Williams, Danny.
Oh, they had a squad that year.
Yeah. So we stuck in there though. Like,
Okay.
what happened? They tried to play us man, and at the HBCUs, your big man gonna be probably about 6'7", 6'6", 6'7". So our coach ran a motion spread offense and put our center at the point guard. So he brought big Sheldon Williams up top to guard him at the point, and he just getting around him and kicking, kicking. We was ready to shoot, score. So second half,
they made adjustments.
Coach K set in his zone, and it was over. It was over. But we still played good. We just, like I say, we only lost by it was either 7 or 9, but we played them tough. It was a good one. That could have been an upset. 16 seed, 1 seed. That was going to be a big upset.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. So, kid from Augusta, Georgia, man, in the NCAA tournament about to upset Duke, man. That's 16 seed. Everybody's going for the 16 seed, man.
Yep,
so,
yep. And we played in Charlotte, and North Carolina played after us. So we had their fans, our fans, man. It was crazy. It was loud in there too. It was a good experience. Though.
No, that's dope, man. So let me ask you this: so after college, did you play ball overseas or anything else?
I had a lot of personal things going on. Hey, man, life was coming at me too fast. At the same, I had a baby. Well, I had just had my son.
Okay,
and I was already away from him a year because I still was in college when he was born. I'm in Delaware. They back in Augusta. So that I was dealing with an injury. I was dealing with some things with my step pops and my mom back at the crib. My brother going through some things. So it was just like, man, a 21-year-old kid getting hit by a bag of bricks at one time, and I had to come back home and just get everything in order, get my life in order. And I had my degree, so that was a good thing. So I was able to just go into the working field.
Yeah, I see. You got a bachelor's degree, and you also got your master's, right? So all that was paid for?
Not my master's, but my bachelor's was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you got your degree, and so now you're back home in Augusta, because now you have your son, which you have a son, so you got a family now.
Yes.
So what made you start Shine Hoop Grind Academy, and when did that start?
So my son was getting older, and he fell in love with the game too. Just around the house, I didn't really force him or nothing, but he just always had a ball, and we always would buy little goals, and he just always be in this room all day just playing basketball. So when he started getting a little older to dribble a bigger basketball, I started taking him to the gym. So we and I also worked at the Parks and Recs. So I used to pick him up from school, and we used to train with the gym I was working at until his mom got off work. And we just be training, and he was getting better. And a lot of parents would see me in there just training him, and they would always ask, you train? Can you train mine? Can you train my kid? And I just started picking one of the kids one by one. Next thing you know, from just there, it just kind of blossomed. But what really made it blossom, the kids was really getting better. I wasn't just putting them through drills. We was training and developing and figuring their weaknesses out, their strengths out, and working on things that they really needed to work on to develop.
Yeah, so basically you're telling me that Shine Hoop Grind Academy started from you just taking your son to the gym, just teaching him the game because he was interested in playing, and the other parents saw you, and I guess they assumed maybe you was a trainer or, possibly could train, their sons, and that's how this all got started.
Yeah, and then a lot of people already knew me from basketball and high school, college, and so when they see me, that's the first thing, oh, man, you back in town, what you doing now, and all that. So I'm like, nah, man, I'm just working, taking care of my kids, taking care of my family. So it just went from there. So I always tell my wife and DJ, that's his name. I was like, he the reason really why this have grow the way it have forgotten. So
yeah. So this thing, so your son really is the reason.
Yeah.
So everybody should be thanking DJ for Shine Hoop Grind Academy.
for sure.
So let me ask you this. So because I know now you have your own facility, so shout out to you for that. But did it start like that?
When I opened it,
Like how did this start for you? Because you have your own gym now, but
Yeah.
but how did it start in the beginning?
So what I was doing, once I started getting a abundance of phone calls and a lot of people trying to get their kid in, I started renting out different places. And I was renting out a church. I was in contract with this church. And, what I was paying them a month, I told myself, man, look, I can, put this money into my own situation. And got in contact with a realtor, and he was just, it took a minute for us to find a spot. It took us some months. And he called me one day out the blue. I kind of really was like, man, forget it, man. I'm going to just have to stick with this church, man. Because I was only limited to like 2 or 3 days a week. And I needed my own. I needed 7 days for what I really was trying to do. And he called me out the blue. I pretty much was like, forget it. It was one of them unexpected phone calls. Hey, man, Darren, I think I got you something. I went out there and seen it. I was like, yeah, the next day I signed my lease and I was ready to go.
Wow. So this is going back to what, 2016?
That's when because I was at the church for a while. So I signed my lease 2016. Yep.
And that's where you still are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So in 2016 you started. So now this is a passion, but it's also a business because we got bills to pay now.
Sure.
so were there ever any times early on in Shine Hoop Grind Academy that you thought, I don't know about this?
I'm gonna tell you, nah, it wasn't.
Okay.
Because I had built my clientele so good up at the church, I walked into it with already a good amount of people already. So
okay.
And if I can go back and show you pictures or videos of us at the church, it was jam packed in there. Like it was really good. But I was limited to hours, so it was so many kids at one time, and that's what I didn't like. And it was a full court gym, but it was just too many kids at one time. Because if they give me one day, it may be I only got 3 hours to get everything done. Now I got, if I want to go 8 hours, I can go 8 hours. So at my spot. So yeah, that church was one of those things that helped me build. It helped me build that clientele up. And so when I opened up, I already had it. So that just like now, this big project I'm working on now, when I open up, I already got an abundance of flow going to come in to help, to do what I needed to do from a business aspect.
Yeah, shout out to you, man. So let me start. So the thing is, you started at the church, right? And you built up clientele. So you leveraged everything that you built at the church, and you had your own facility. And now you're like, man, I have established clientele. And I started. Cause sometimes some people don't start because they're concerned about where they're starting from, right? But you didn't let that stop you, right? You started at the church, built clientele, got your own facility, building clientele there. Now you're working on a bigger project. So can you speak to that, or you just want to keep that to yourself?
Yeah, I was going to keep that to myself as of right now, because I'm still kind of putting everything in order the way
Okay. So let me ask you this then, because I noticed with you, because people don't probably notice, but like you actually work a full-time job, right? So you're a teacher, and you're in the gym every day with these kids, and your practices and your trainings that you have with the kids don't never end on time.
Nah, they don't.
So,
They don't. The reason why, man, because sometimes I get so engaged into what we're doing, and then sometimes I be so amazed that these kids be playing so much basketball and don't know so many things. So when I say, like, if I know this kid play AAU, he been playing it for years, but I'm going over something that he never ever heard in his life, it makes me question
Coaching.
Where he getting it from. Like, so now I'm engaged. I end up turning my training into practices. Like a real practice. Like, because I'm trying to teach things, not just skill set, but also defense. Like understanding rotation.
Hold up, coach. Ain't nobody teaching defense.
Not in training.
I'll tell you that now.
For real. So, because what I like to do, and I think kids get better at, is 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. Because when you training, I feel like, yeah, your first half need to be skill set, getting better, working on things, but then that second half should be implementation. You got to learn how to do what you've been working on, you know. And so those 2-on-2s, those 3-on-3s, those 4-on-4s is going to help with that. But you got to go in there understanding. And mine's going to be out of a set. It's going to be out of you got to do it a certain way. And if it break down, we still got to understand how to play off the ball down screens, pick and roll, dribble handoffs, things that they're doing in the college level right now. And so I just want these kids to be prepared. So when they go to practice and the coach asks them or need the players to fit their system who know how to run DHOs, which is the dribble handoff or pick and roll, they going to already know how to do that. So it's going to put them at the top of the list if they picking a starting lineups. You already ready. You already know what to expect, and you're doing it at a high level. So now, I can trust this kid. But it's a difference of doing it in a drill and then doing it when defenders on you. So that's what I think is important. So I need to make sure these kids know how to execute a pick and roll with high level defenders on them. That's putting them under duress. But what I see now when I have these kids, pressure on them, they let the pressure speed them up. And now that's going to tell me how you're going to play the game.
Yeah, no, I noticed with your trainings, you're really big on fundamentals and teaching these kids the game. Because it seems like a lot of these kids, they just want to go out here and do their thing.
Like I told them, a lot of y'all know how to play basketball, but y'all don't know basketball. And it's two different things. Like, you got to be able to have a high IQ in basketball. Decision making is just as important as skill set. Like I always tell my kids, you could be a really good dumb basketball player.
Coach, I got to say that again. You can be a really good dumb basketball player. I like that.
Dribbling through two people and the man in the corner, that help side come over and you don't make that pass, and you turn over. That's what I call a really good dumb basketball player.
Let me tell you something, man. Just even with my son, with him playing ball, I mean, I watch some of this stuff, and I just be sitting in the stands just looking. I see so much dumb stuff. You know, kids on breakaway layup. Instead of him laying it up, he wants to do some trick behind the back and turn the ball over. And I'm like, what is you doing?
I tell you, man, if they put more time into really understanding and learning, you will cut down on these turnovers. If your decision-making skills on the basketball court is A1, it'll make you look like a really good basketball player. You ain't got to be as good. It can make you look really good if you always know the right pass, you always know the right spots to be in. And it's just like I always try to tell them, man, it's just like school. It's just like school. Studying and implementation. And the games are your tests. If you study, the game's going to be easy, man. I promise. But it's because it's a game. And they look at basketball, it's not put on the same level as like preparation that school is. They're not gonna look at it like that. You know, some kids, you know, they study every day. They know they read every day, they study every day, but they play basketball. But they may not be studying their game every day, working on their game every day. You know, but I guarantee you, if they did, they'll be a whole lot better.
So let me ask you this. Why do some of these kids focus more so on, because I have to tell my son this, on looking good? Because I always tell my son, I said, son, don't worry about looking good. Worry about being good.
Man.
There's a lot of guys that they look good. They're not good.
That's crazy. Just looking good and not worrying. They want the $200 shoes. They want the arm sleeves. They want all this stuff, the leg sleeve, man. And I'm like, man, y'all worry about the wrong thing.
So let me ask you this. Like I said, I know you teach 5 days a week, and then on top of that, so how many days a week do you train?
Every day. I don't have a
7
break,
days a
man.
week.
Like I was talking to my wife the other day, man. I said for 10 years straight. No, probably longer than that. About 13 years straight, man. I've been going 7 days a week. 7 days a week. Like it'd be some days I may, take a break. Take a day off or so. But yeah, this been going on for a while. And I don't really be complaining because if you look at the history, you look at the kids in college, you look at, the up and coming kids, man, I can sit back and, like this year, I watched like 8 to 10 Division I kids that came through my program. You know what I'm saying? So I could sit back and look at that and be okay. Now them 7 days worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah. So I know when we talked, because I guess my biggest thing with people like you, phenomenal people, and also a phenomenal coach. Like, what is it that like? Is this more of a purpose for you? I mean, I know it's also a business of sorts, but you do it with so much love and passion. And I've always believed that if you do something for the right reason, the money, all that other stuff is going to just come naturally.
Sure.
But because people can tell when all you want is their money.
Mm-hmm.
But with you, it's like, man, you genuinely love what you do, seemingly. And I don't want to speak for you, but that's how I feel watching you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it just comes from like the love of the game that I know, the opportunities that I missed out on. Like I was good, but I didn't have some of the things that these kids have today. So I don't want them kids to miss out. I feel like I feel like I missed out on some things because the information, I ain't know some of the information. I didn't have some of the push.
Some of the resources neither.
Resources, exactly. So I do it because I want to see these kids make it, but I think they can go further with that right information and the resources and the people around them giving them the right things to keep them going. I think I had the skill set, the talent, but lack of resources and information. And I think that's what kind of kept me. I think I could have been away. Like somebody should have told me, like, if you're gonna be a Division I point guard, you gotta really work on your jump shot. Nobody didn't have me.
Right.
Nobody that wasn't preparing me to really work on my jump shot. They wasn't preparing me. You're only 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot, but you're not athletic. Like you should be dunking if you want to be. Like you saying you want to go to the NBA, but your athleticism not NBA athletic. I didn't have that information, so I should have been doing calf raiser squats as a 10th, 11th, 12th. I wasn't because I didn't have that. So I don't want these kids to miss out on certain things, information that they need that can help their game continue to develop.
Here's the weird thing about these kids, and I see you like really on these kids because these kids probably have too many resources now.
Too many, too much, and they don't understand. They take it for granted.
For sure,
they take it for granted, man. And we have been through the trenches as parents, so we call ourselves trying to, give them the lessons in the game, but sometimes it's hindering them because we do so much to make sure they don't go through come up how we came up and go through some of the things we go through. But sometimes, man, that adversity teach character. So they need it sometimes.
Oh, man.
It teach character. So it's a lot of times, man, I sit back and watch my kids go through their little adversity. And where I know most parents would jump through a loop because we don't like to see our kids sad, down, upset. But if we do a good job of communicating with them, like and letting them if they understand that word accountability, that's my favorite word. It's cliche, but man, look, if a kid can learn and understand what it really means to be accountable, self-accountable, hold yourself accountable for your actions, they will eliminate a lot of their issues in life. And especially when it comes to sports. Why are you mad? Why? Because you on the bench. Why are you mad? You know the coach expectations. You know what he expecting in practice. Why aren't you doing that? You doing enough for you and what you want to do. You're not doing enough for what that coach. That's just like a job. You can't go in that job and do what you want to do. You got to go do the job expectations, man.
I like that.
You know, so I try to just get them to understand this thing of basketball. It's the same principles of life. So if you don't go where you want to go in basketball, you can make it in life, and that's what helped me.
For sure.
I didn't make it far in basketball as I could have, but I used some of those lessons to help me in life, you know. And
I like that.
yeah, so adversity for me, you know, I just take it on the chin, and I know I'm finna put my seatbelt on, and I'm finna get through this, but I know it's not gonna last long in life. It's not gonna last. I expect it. It's gonna happen. But if I'm gonna get to this next level of my life, I gotta just, okay, I'm ready. Like I approach it. Me and my wife talk about it all the time. Like when adversity hit, we know something big coming on the other side.
Come on now.
So we can't let it get us. So if it get us, we done. Just, you know, as whatever it is, we gonna fold to the adversity. And you know, it's one of them rough things that you don't want to go through. But if you understand it and aware of it, you're just gonna put that seatbelt on, wake up every day, and approach it headstrong every day. And I guarantee you, if you do it like that, man, that thing gonna subside in a short period of time.
Yeah, no, I like that. But see, a lot of this is, I'm realizing that your character as a coach goes back to your character as a player, because you were a team player, team first guy. You were very coachable. And so you want kids that are coachable, kids that are accountable, kids that, you know, I'm going to hold you accountable for what you're doing. I mean, end of the day, I mean, you can get mad and all this other kind of stuff, but this is on you.
Right. Like I always talk, I bring up my kids a lot, man, because sometimes people look at me as a basketball guy and they automatically think like I'm going to give a coach hell for coaching my son backwards. Like I'm telling you, my youngest son, he's getting better now because I made him go through certain things. He didn't want to, you know, he wanted to show up as Shine. His last name Shine. Coach is just supposed to give him stuff.
Hey,
you know, but he wasn't doing what he's supposed to do.
right.
And like I tell the coach, you the coach. You the coach. You make the decisions, man. I ain't tripping. You ain't got to be afraid to coach my kids. I ain't tripping. Like, he going to know right or wrong. He know what he should be doing. He know by expectations. He know. So he's choosing to do that. So you as the coach, you the coach, man. I ain't tripping.
I love that because, see, you talked about life, and I think that that's the thing about it. And I remember listening to you speak one time before, and you talked about how a coach told you that at some point that ball is going to stop bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you have these kids, you're not just teaching them ball. It's like you're teaching them life within the sport of basketball. Because chances are most of these kids are not going to make it at ball. I don't think some of these parents understand that, but like chances are your kid is, I don't care how good you think your kid is, he's probably not going to end up being in the NBA. So I'm going to teach him life lessons as a coach. Like you truly care about these kids in a real way because you understand at some point that ball is going to stop bouncing.
It's going to stop. And a lot of ex-basketball players have a hard time adapting when that ball do start bouncing to life. In this generation, in old generation, they don't know what else to do.
Wow.
After that career, they may have been a superstar. They probably didn't go to the NBA. But it's like, what's next? They don't know. And that's why I say I always had great coaches. My college coach made sure he prepared us for that, man. Like he prepared us for that. Like I used to be at practice. Like I used to love to hear his speeches at the end of practice because it was always going to be a gem I was going to take away from it. That's going to help me, like, because I could see the window closing at my senior year.
Okay.
I told you, I'm gonna keep
you can see the window closing?
I can see the window closing. Like, nah, he ain't going to the league, brother. So he used to say things that made me like, okay, I can take this with me. That's going to help. a lot of his life lessons and gems, man, they stick to me to this day.
Listen, man, we got to get this coach a shout out. What's the name of this coach?
Coach Greg Jackson, man.
Shout out to Coach Greg Jackson.
State. He's not up there no more. He's not coaching anymore. But yeah, he was a really good coach, man.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Greg Jackson. So let me ask you this, man, real quick. How do you deal with parents that have unrealistic expectations? Or if you can't speak to that, then it's okay.
Nah, I don't have a problem speaking to it, man. Just communicating with them and try to get them to understand the level that their kid is on. You know, if you can break that down and communicate that well with them, and let them understand what level their kid is on, and then I think that'll help. That'll be step one. Then a lot of times, sometimes parents get it once they remove their kid to another situation, and the same exact thing is happening in that situation that happened in the past. Then they move to another. It's the same. So now it's like,
hold up. So you mean tell me? So parents are going from one trainer or one situation to something else because they don't like the way things are going?
Well, no, teams.
Oh, teams. Okay, teams. Okay,
teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Teams.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Unrealistic expectations. That happens a lot. A lot of parents, like we all sometimes think our kids are better than what they are.
Right.
So for me, I just try to make sure I watch enough basketball, and I played, but I really do understand the game. So I never wanted to be a disservice to my kids, and putting them in situations like I told you I did that before with my oldest son, and we went to Houston. We traveled all summer long. You know, like I told you, when you go AAU tournament, them weekends gonna be $1,200, $2,000 weekends with flights for the whole family. And they charging to get in these AAU tournaments by the day, hotels, and he ain't get a minute. That whole weekend.
Hold up. So you're listening to Coach Shine, the great Coach Shine, talk about how his own son didn't even get to play. Because it sounds like you're saying with the unrealistic expectations, some of these parents put their kids on these teams. They don't get to play because they're not good enough. Mm-hmm. But then you put them on another team.
Yep.
Right? So you keep shopping teams because your kid is not playing, but your kid isn't playing because he's not good enough.
Good enough. And what you may need to realize, like maybe he need to be on a less talented team.
Okay.
Where he can develop. Okay. Yeah, and get better. And
do you think that there's any situations where a kid sitting on the bench could be a good thing that could make him better if he can really play at that level? Okay.
And he's shortchanging himself. Mm-hmm. He's not playing because it's him.
Okay, it's him.
It's not like practicing.
Right.
He's not working hard.
Right.
It ain't about made shot, missed shot. It ain't about that. His skill set equal out. It's the same kid.
Right.
If he really gave 100, he could probably beat them in sprints. He just not. He got to sit. Now those situations, that's good. That'll help build a lot of character, and that'll help change him because he don't like that feeling. Like he know he better than these kids. I'm in practice every day. Like I play them one-on-one every day. I'm beating them, so I know. So maybe what's the issue? Maybe it's me.
Right.
So now that's the self-accountability that he going to show up to practice the next day and show this coach like, nah, I deserve. So, it can make somebody turn on their engine, and it builds a lot of character and self-awareness for yourself to understand, like, I was playing, man. It was my fault.
Yeah, I like that. So let me talk real quick. You talk about AAU, how it's changed a lot. So what's the biggest difference between AAU back when you were playing versus now?
Now it's just too many teams. Like right now, what's happening? Whoever daddy want to coach, they're gonna coach the team.
Okay.
So really, it shouldn't be as many teams. But I mean, I understand. I wouldn't mind the amount of teams if the message was better.
What you mean by that, Coach?
When they worry about the wins.
Because listen, man,
you got third grade, fourth grade teams.
Right.
Everybody trying to win.
Okay.
Kids not playing the right way.
I'm glad you said that because, our son just started playing ball a couple years. He's only been playing for 2 years, but I've seen too much focus on winning and not enough on actually coaching.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that was the norm or like.
Nah, that's not the norm, man, because they got this tournament during Peace Jam that they have at the Augusta Convention Center called the May Hoops Nike Finale. It's the best 7th and 8th grade teams around the country. You go watch that. Matter of fact, take Lil Doe there this summer. It's during Peace Jam week, but it's at the Augusta Convention Center. You're gonna see kids his age and younger playing like they college guys, running sets, setting down screens, running transition offense, dribble handoffs, setting screens, dunking it. You'll be amazed, man. So, like I tell the kids in my training, like if I see some other kids y'all age doing this, why I ain't finna come and hold y'all accountable that y'all can do it? What makes them different than y'all? What makes them different that they can play at this level, but it's what's around them? They're setting the foundation in those bigger states, in those bigger. It's more basketball aware people that's pouring into these kids at a young age, teaching them things that's going to help them develop and get better as they get older. See, right now it's only rec around here, daddy coaches. Nobody really like.
It's just the way you say that.
Nah,
it just sounds
real.
like daddy coaches.
I'm not saying you gotta play Division I or college basketball to be a coach.
Right.
At least do your research. Do like study the game, understand the game, so you can. I remember back in the day, like I had a 2nd grade team, 3rd grade team, 4th grade team. I got the best kids. Well, not the best kids. I got the most kids that had the most potential, and I put them all on one team, and I taught them the game. And we went around this whole state, country, beating all these teams. And I'm gonna tell you who's on that team. Elijah Crawford. He's at BYU this year. My son, he was at Queens. And Darion Reed, he was at Alabama. He just transferred to Oklahoma. Braylon Smith, he was at the Citadel. So all these kids at this age, 3rd grade, they all Division I players right now.
Wow.
But it started at that young. They wasn't like really good players. They just they had potential because basketball was in their DNA. Their parents played, I played. But I had took what I learned in college and how my coach does, and I coached them the same way. Like we ran college practice. I ain't holding you. Like I was hard on them. But I taught them so much. They learned so much. Man, I can call a play, they gonna run it at that age, like clockwork, executing, scoring. And man, we finished like they be doing these like top teams,
all right,
in the whole whatever
these rankings,
yeah, which we don't pay attention to, but just to see like, okay, some little kids from Augusta up here beating teams from New York, Florida, like these supposed to be the top little teams. Like we up there competing and beating them, and they just was playing the right way. Like that's it. No showboating. They're just playing the right way. Somebody open, hit them. If the defense kick, hit them. I just prepared them to play the right way, and they was really good, man.
So let me ask you this, Coach. What are your long-term goals for Shine Hoop Grind Academy? Like, where are you trying to take this? I mean, you started in 2016, so you've had a phenomenal 9-year run. Where are you trying to take Shine Hoop Grind Academy?
Well, I just really want a facility that houses the kids to have somewhere to come in and work, where I don't even have to be there. They just have everything that they need, kind of like a YMCA membership, but it's basketball based. Anything they need, shooting guns.
So let me make sure we're clear about it. So you have a facility now, but you want them to have a facility they can just have access to anytime.
Yeah, something like 10,000 square feet.
Okay.
They book a session with a court, individual court on their own. They can train. But it's going to be multiple situations and things that they can use When we get a chance, I'll show you the business
Yeah,
plan.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
can check it out and see what's my next goal, man. And just start doing partnerships with Peace Jam. Start doing, because like right now I do a lot of training of the kids who come in town that week. But this facility, is gonna be legit.
Okay, I love that. Look at you, man, still growing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Coach, like, where can people find you?
You can find me on social media, Shine Hoop Grind on Instagram. You can just find me on Facebook, Darren Shine, or on Instagram, Darren_Shine, and just reach out and send a message. And also, you can get on my website, shinehoopgrind.com.
Listen, man, shout out to you, man. Like I say, this is an honor for me because I just love the way that you carry yourself as a coach, but more so as a person.
Thank you, man.
I just believe the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And if
Sure.
you end up if you're a great person, you're going to be a great coach. I mean, you do everything with greatness, man. So shout out to you, Coach, man. Listen, this is going to conclude the episode of Free Game Don D.
Before we end, I want to. I just got one more thing. Like during Christmas, man, I normally do a sneaker drive.
Okay.
So what I do, give out sneakers to the less fortunate families.
Okay.
We didn't do it last year. We did it in the past, man. I'm talking about 400 to 500 pairs of sneakers we pass out to the less fortunate families, man.
Is that Kicks for Kicks?
Kicks
sneaker
for
drive?
Kids, yeah, Kicks for Kids sneaker drive, yeah.
Okay, how can people
or just reach out to me. I should be getting a storage unit. I normally get a storage unit where I store all the shoes until the date. So you just hit me up and send me a message, and I'll come pick up the shoes, man. I'll come meet you somewhere, wherever, and so that's what it is. Just if you have any sneakers you want to donate to the cause, just let us know. If you want to donate funds to the cause, just let us know. We just try to at least raise 300 to 500 pairs of sneakers, man, for Christmas. This during Christmas time. We do it in December.
I love that. So Kicks for Kicks sneaker drive. Y'all try to raise 300 to 500 pair of sneakers for less fortunate children.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, Coach. That's dope, man. That is dope. Anything else, Coach?
Nah, we good.
We good? Nah, I just want to make sure, man.
Nah, we good.
Listen, man, this is going to conclude the episode of Free Game Don D. Life, family, and business.
Appreciate you.